Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the FantasyJocks.com studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Well, Week 14 has begun.
It has begun.
For some, it has been fun. For others, not so much. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. My name is Andy Holloway. I'm joined by Mike, the Fantasy Hitman Wright.
What's up, party people?
Jason Moore has the morning off, and so Mike and I will be handling all of the business.
The business it's business time.
Wasn't business time for Spencer Ware.
Wait, no. It was business time, and I mean the man got over 20 carries. It was not production time.
There were two fantasy-defining plays in last night's game.
Yep.
There was Spencer Ware being vultured by Char West, which changed him from having a decent week. Because if he scores,
he has a fine week if he scores.
He out-touched Char West massively. It was obviously the Ware show. Not great production.
No.
His yards per
20
carry.
for 56.
You wonder if he's breaking down a little bit.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And the play, which was a broken play where Amari Cooper got deep for what should have been an easy 72-yard touchdown and lost the ball in the lights. / I'm seeing reports this morning that some people think it hit the wire.
Which is bananas.
It hit the NBC wire.
Bananas.
And either way, that play changes the whole game. It changes everything about Derek Carr's pathetic. I mean, the 3 C's let you down.
Well,
Crab, Cooper, and Carr.
I mean, he did throw the ball 41 times.
Yeah.
17 completions, 117 yards.
It seems like the pinky was severely bothering him.
The pinky destroyed the brain. Am I right?
Well said. It's
that
true.
Was not the best one, but I got it.
No, that's not bad. I don't mind it. So we're going to talk. You know, if you're a Latavius Murray owner, you're very happy.
There was some big stuff that happened.
You have Tyreek,
the freaks of chic, dropping that delightful touchdown reception. Then he was not done. Oh.
Yeah, I mean Tyreek Hill is lightning in a bottle.
He's very fast.
But I think a lot of owners were like me. I'm going to just be honest. I started Crabtree over Tyreek Hill in our Listener League playoffs against you, Mike.
And that's exactly what I would have done. At this point, Crabtree's been so good.
I just went with the targets. I went with consistent targets.
And I would have too. That's Spencer Ware. I mean, if you're telling me, okay, hey, you're in the fantasy playoffs, your running back is going to get 20 carries. Sign me up for that every single time.
20 carries against the Raiders.
Yeah, every single time. Sign me up for that.
Latavius Murray.
Yeah, at least one guy had a monster game, over 100 on the ground. And
Travis Kelce.
Touchdown.
Travis Kelce, 100 yards for the 4th consecutive game.
They've finally unleashed Zeus. Finally.
Nothing from Macklin. Not that anybody played him.
Yeah.
So today on the show, we've got the rest of the matchups. We have Footclan Friday. We're going to talk more about the game last night, maybe get into the mailbag a little bit. And so that's the agenda for today. You know, last night we also had the late scratch of the left guard. It didn't seem to affect Murray too much. They probably should have given Murray the ball 10 more times.
Yeah.
Because that was actually successful for their offense. So.
Yeah, sometimes you become enamored with the pass.
All right, let's get to Footclan Friday.
Footclan Friday.
I missed last Friday, which of course means you missed this segment because you guys were flying by the seat of your pants.
I wouldn't say I missed it. Am I right?
No, now we've got to double down.
I missed it.
So two winners today from the
So we got to explain what this is first.
Footclan Friday. Every Friday we give away a $50 gift card to shopballers.com to one of our supporters from jointhefoot.com. And today we are giving 2 away. Winner number 1 is Ryan Fogarty, and winner number 2 is Dustin Hayden.
Congratulations.
So congrats. We'll send those over. You can get some sweet gear in time for Christmas. That'll be fun. And so thank you for your support at jointhefoot.com. If you want to follow us on Twitter, do so at the FF Ballers. We'll be dropping all the latest news, catching you up on injuries. Today we're also doing in and out, so we'll give you some of the injury updates on the show today. And check out the website, thefantasyfootballers.com.
News and notes from around the league.
You know, when you make Sammy Watkins your start of the week, gets a little hot under the collar.
Yeah.
But when a little news breaks that he has no limitations, that makes you feel a little better. How do you react to that news? Is any part of your lack of liking Watkins this week injury related?
I would say 100% is related.
Oh,
to
wow. Okay.
I mean, he's fantastic. We know the talent, the matchup. Wow, Big Ben. It's road Big Ben, but there's still the Steelers are a high-powered offense. There's a possibility of a shootout having to catch up to the Steelers. That speaks well for Sammy Watkins in the game script. With the no limitations, I mean, I was already okay playing him. I wasn't.
You weren't my level.
I was nearly as emboldened as you, but I mean, I like him.
Let me ask you this. I was asked this morning, and I answered it. Demaryius Thomas without Trevor Siemian or Sammy Watkins?
Oof. I'd go Sammy there.
If Simeon's healthy, do you go Thomas?
Yes, 100%.
That's what I said too.
Well, and then, of course, we had your other start of the week, Mark Ingram, missing practice now with the toe. You weren't concerned about the toe. I mean, you got the Sammy one right. You weren't concerned about him.
If I remember correctly, when you're in this situation, you made both guys your start of the week. You've made Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman. You've made Hightower and Ingram. And so I'm going to put this caveat out there. If Mark Ingram doesn't play, it's Tim Hightower.
Okay.
Tim Hightower is my start of the week. I'm going to pivot.
I thought you were going to say if Ingram does not play, he's not your start of the week. And I was going to say that's a bold strategy.
Bold move. Mike Gillislee will continue to get red zone carries according to Bills offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn. That's his role, says Lynn, praising Gillislee's decisive running. I feel like I'm reading a storybook.
I mean, I have not played professional football. I don't understand why they do these kinds of things. Mike Gillislee's not the fridge in there. He's not this. he's not the bus. I mean, no. I don't understand why you're like, okay, well, we need to get Shady out of there. He's the slippery fish, man.
I know. Harder to slip into the end zone.
And it's I am of the ilk that if LeSean McCoy busts his butt, he's risking his body for your team, getting you all the way down to the goal line. You're like, reward the man with the touchdown.
I think they just want the team to win.
Does he have touchdown escalators in his contract?
Oh, you discovered something.
Someone look into this.
8 touchdowns or more, he gets a Porsche. A Porsche, yeah.
We pay in cars.
Are you in or out?
In or out, Trevor Siemian, do you think he plays?
He practiced on Thursday, so I'm going in.
Mark Ingram, we just talked about him. Do you think he actually plays? He did not. He got reduced to a DNP on Thursday.
I think that he's going to play, which
trepidatiously.
Yeah, that stinks for at least for your start of the week and for fantasy players. He started last week, looked fantastic, dinged up the toe, was able to get back out there, but it's risky business.
2 carries for Char West. 2.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man. Ryan Mathews, is he going to play?
Doug Peterson says he's good to go. He's going to play.
Ivory.
He's limited in practices. I'm going to say no. I'm going to lean no.
TJ Yeldon?
He's good to go. He's practicing full. He's going to play.
Riddick and Dwayne Washington for the Lions.
Riddick, for sure, is in. Dwayne Washington has been limited. And we've had situations of Dwayne Washington being limited where it looked like he would play. They signed the tuba, Joik Bell, so maybe they're not expecting Dwayne Washington back.
Julio Jones.
Moving
into wide receivers.
I think he plays, but the Falcons coming out saying, "Oh, we're optimistic that he's going to play." That's
what fantasy playoff owners love to hear.
The worst. I expect him to play, but that's
So, look, I don't know if we've said this. We've known that Mohamed Sanu might miss the game, and he's unlikely to play.
Right.
But if Julio missed the game, I mean, Taylor Gabriel is by himself, it feels
he's
like.
by himself?
It's him and Justin Hardy.
Well, yeah, but to me, if Julio Jones misses, I think he's going to play. But if he misses, fire up Devonta Freeman.
Yeah.
Fire up Tevin Coleman.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with
because they
that.
both are usable.
If I had the panic alarm button, I might hit it right now. Michael Thomas.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't practice on Wednesday. A lot of guys. Usually they're veterans. So it was a little noticeable when Michael Thomas did not practice on Wednesday, but he missed Thursday as well. If you don't see limited practice by Michael Thomas on Friday, you better find another option.
Does that make Willie Snead a better option?
Yes.
Tavon Austin, is he going to play?
Who cares?
Jordan Mathews, Marvin Jones?
Both. I'm going to say Mathews will play. I think Marvin will play, but I don't know. You can't play him. You can't start Marvin Jones at this point.
If Robert Woods plays, is that better or worse for Sammy Watkins?
Better.
Okay. I agree with you on that one. Okay. I think that's tight ends. Jordan Reed.
He says he's going to
big
play.
one.
He says that he has full range of motion back.
What's Rule 86, Mike?
Rule 86 is if Jordan Reed is on the football field, you play him, and I will be following that rule. I have the upgraded role of Kobe Fleener with Josh Hill out for the year. Fleener ended up being a decent pickup.
Higher snap count.
Yes, he will be on the field more. But if Jordan Reed plays this weekend, I'm going to play Jordan Reed even in what is looked at as a bad matchup against the Eagles.
You saw what Jordan Reed did with no shoulder for the second half of the game.
Look, there's the Tooth Fairy shows up, taps the shoulder with a magic wand.
Yeah,
It
made
goes-
of
it goes-
NSAIDs and
It goes numb,
right.
and then you catch touchdowns.
It's true. It's true. I will be following Rule 86 as well.
Fantasy Forecast.
Speaking of forecast, don't forget the weather article every Sunday morning by Eric Ludwig, one of our writers. And this is all the more important now when you're getting into that, the weather that the pinky hurts in, apparently. The cold pinky weather.
I don't doubt it, man. I mean, you hurt in the cold.
Yeah.
Imagine having a double dislocated pinky.
Cardinals take on the Dolphins, 43.5 point over-under. That's low. This game may have some light rain, but the weather's nice. It's in Miami. So, you're not worried about David Johnson.
Nope.
Are you worried about Jay Ajayi against the Cardinals' run defense?
It's a downgrade for sure, but I think a guy like Jay Ajayi can still get enough work and get it done for fantasy purposes. I'm not benching him.
You're starting Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Are you starting Carson Palmer?
The pass defense of the Dolphins, they've been okay. They're 11th in terms of yards given up.
The consensus on Palmer this week, from what I've seen in the expert community, is low. They just have him very, very low. I don't know why there's no upside to him this week.
There's upside, but he's been very inconsistent on the year, and his pass catching weapons have been inconsistent. The offensive line has been, I would say, okay to poor, and so it's just, are you going to trust that when it's not a just obvious plus matchup for Carson Palmer?
How do you make a decision on the other side of the ball with the wide receivers, Landry, Parker,
and Stills?
Yeah, who would you go with there?
We've talked about this in the studio. Will Landry get the Patrick Peterson experience? And Landry has been very disappointing for most of the season. He finally jumped back into that double-digit target range last week. I think he had 14. So I'll still play him. Parker is intriguing to me if in fact Patrick Peterson's on Landry. I don't know if they'll shadow Landry with Patrick Peterson, but I'm okay playing both of them. Not a ton of confidence. That wide receiver 2-3 range.
It seems like this game's going to come down to the Cardinals' pass rush versus the offensive line of the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are giving up a lot of sacks, and then the Cardinals are averaging a sack every 13 pass attempts, which is pretty high, fourth in the league. So I think it's going to come down to, does he have time in the pocket to make a few throws to make those wide receivers fantasy relevant. I doubt it's enough.
Yeah.
And Vegas does too. The over-under is pretty low. The Redskins take on the Eagles. Divisional matchup, 46.5 point over-under. Seems like the kind of game where Philly could just, they're pretty much out of the playoff picture.
Right.
But they could definitely mess up the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, they certainly could, but I'm not scared.
Your money is not on the Eagles in this
No,
one.
it's not. I'll take Washington. Cousins is playing for that contract. He's playing.
How many yards per game is he averaging? Do you know this number?
Cousins?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Average passing yards per game for Kirk Cousins this season. Third ranked in the league, I'll tell you that.
Okay, I'm just gonna go over 3 bills. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 315.
317.
Woo!
317 is third best in football.
That's what I'm saying. He's been slinging it. Where I have this decision, and I'm sure that there's a lot of Footclan people out here that have this decision. You've been stashing Jameis Winston, and you saw that stretch. You're like, oh, I'm going to pick up Cousins and stream him. Oh, wow, Kirk Cousins was great. I can't just drop him. I'm going to play him again. Wow, he was great. And now I'm looking at this matchup.
What are you going to do? Do you not know still? Are you going Cousins or Winston?
Right now, Cousins is in my starting lineup.
All right.
But it's back and forth. If you want to hear the final decision of that, make sure you check out my Periscope. I'm sure it will come out on Sunday morning.
Yeah, you can find that on Twitter at the FF Ballers. It's great every week. Rob Kelley. Really like Rob Kelley this week.
I like him too. The volume is there. It didn't work out for Spencer Ware, but 20 carries. I think Kelly's in that 15 to 20 carry range as well, with good opportunity to score because you have a better offense.
D-Jax, Crowder.
I'll take
D-Jax going back to Philly.
I'll take Crowder, but the revenge game of DeSean Jackson, and it's a funny narrative, and it's a fun narrative to play. But if anybody wants to bring that narrative to truth, it's DeSean Jackson.
Would you play DeSean Jackson over Allen Robinson this week?
Yes.
Would you play him over Kelvin Benjamin this week?
Ooh, Kelvin at home versus the Chargers. Oh, I probably would play Kelvin.
We have them back-to-back in our
Do
rankings.
we?
Yeah, we do.
I probably would play Kelvin.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we're touching wide receivers from the other side. We're probably not touching running backs from the other side, from Philly.
Yeah, the running backs I'm going to avoid. I'm actually okay with Jordan Mathews. Matthews, I'm okay with him.
Zach Ertz.
And Zach Ertz, yes. Those are the two pass-catching targets. Washington can be beat. We saw what Carson Palmer did to them last week. So I'm okay with them. But like I said, that's not a must-start for sure. Before we move on, want to thank today's sponsor, Original Grain.
Yeah.
There are a lot of watches out there. A lot. But if you want a watch that's going to stand out from a sea of sameness, you got to check out Original Grain watches. They combine handcrafted, exotic, hardwood inlays with stainless steel accents. The founders took and they continue to take inspiration from the outdoors to make these stunning watches. Original Grain's signature dials and links feature wood selections from across the globe, African rosewood, reclaimed American oak, whiskey barrels. Each Original Grain watch has a unique story. People have been asking us a ton on Twitter, like, "Oh, what was that watch company?" It's Original Grain. They're spectacular. They are stunning. You got to check them out. Go to originalgrain.com/footballers right now because you're going to get 15% off your entire purchase. Not just one, entire purchase. That's originalgrain.com/footballers for 15% off.
We also want to thank Pristine Auction for supporting the show. Look, there's nobody better in the entire industry with sports memorabilia than Pristine Auction. If you want a taste, you want a little taste, Mike? Here's a taste of what's on the homepage today for Pristine Auction, their daily auctions. A Dak Prescott signed Cowboys custom matte white full-size helmet. Right under that.
Wait.
Yeah, you got the matte white.
Is this?
It's beautiful. Mike's distracted now.
I got to make a stop real quick.
Right under that, a Barry Sanders signed Lions jersey. And the thing about Pristine Auction is these are good people, and they are completely representing authentic product. They do not take shortcuts when it comes to how they source their autographed material. This is all certified. This is all authentic. You can trust it.
The world leaders in authentication of signatures.
Absolutely. So you have to check out Pristine Auction. Hundreds of daily auctions spanning all sports, all topics. Amazing stuff on there. The deals you can get, the uniqueness of that as a Christmas gift. Awesome stuff. Check them out. PristineAuction.com. PRISTINE auction.com. The Broncos travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Titans are favored in this game. Favored by a point.
Wait, what?
Let me confirm.
What?
Well, they're at home. They are favored. They are favored.
Okay.
Look, you don't know if it's Siemian or Lynch. Maybe it's an early line. Maybe if Siemian's in there, that line changes.
Yeah, I bet it moves.
But coming off the bye, 2 weeks at home, a lot of people like DeMarco Murray in this game, and I don't blame them. You know, the Broncos, their pass defense is best in the league. They're 28th against the run because people have to run against them, and they can have success. So you like Murray, I assume.
Yep. Love him. And there was an interview on Mike Clay's radio show. I can't remember the name of the beat reporter, but he was a Titans beat reporter, and he asked him about, well, what's going on with this Derrick Henry news of we're going to get him more involved in the short yardage system. According to this reporter, and so grain of salt, but he said,
doesn't buy in.
Yeah. So not that you were gonna, I'm benching Murray now. Did you hear what they're doing with Henry? But just maybe a little bit more boost of confidence.
Here's the problem with this game. Mariota, Murray, Mathews, Delaney Walker, all of these players have been major fantasy contributors now for a while. The Broncos defense gives up 10.5 points a game.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you give them 2 touchdowns, that's not doing anything for your odds there. I mean, I wouldn't touch Rashard Mathews with a 10-foot pole.
I agree. I've had several Tennessee Titan questions because I pumped the brakes on Mariota. And to me, that's a blanket for the wide receivers. I'm still okay with Delaney Walker because the tight end position stinks, and Walker's one of the better options. I'll still play him.
Yes.
But Mathews, sit down. Sharp, where have you been?
Nowhere.
For 8 weeks. Kendall Wright, no thank you.
Now, on the other side, I mean, the Titans defense has only given up 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. You've got now a Booker-Forsett combination. I mean, I would play Booker over Forsett in this game.
Oh, yes.
But I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, there's some shine. The shine is dinging up to a rusty Devontae Booker.
It's not shiny once it gets under 3 yards a carry.
Well, yeah, him and Doug Martin.
Yeah. It's like Joik has been working out with him or something.
The Joik Bell running camp. This is how you do it.
Jogging camp.
You run into the line and you fall down.
Here I am tearing Joik a new one when I loved that man.
Oh, I loved Joik Bell too. It's more of it that it's done.
Tongue in
Bell.
cheek. Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders is your start of the week.
Yeah, I love both, and it's I said contingent on Siemian being the quarterback and not the swashbuckler.
Right.
But
you will not let his physical appearance go.
Well, it's not
Paxton Lynch.
It's the facial hair.
Yeah.
And I say these things, or maybe it sounds like an insult. I actually think it's spectacular. I like the look. I like the swagger that's coming from Paxton Lynch. But I don't like the play that's coming from Paxton Lynch. If it's Trevor Siemian, I will play both Thomas and Sanders.
The New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers, the pinnacles of performance in the football. In the National Football League.
I heard this game was canceled.
Petty Kaepernick face-off.
Wait. As in?
A Petty Kaepernick takes on Bryce Petty.
Yeah.
No, look, I looked at our rankings this week. We were putting our rankings onto the website, thefantasyfootballers.com, and getting them prepared. And I'm looking at the quarterbacks, and I look over to Mike, and I go, there are a lot of bad quarterbacks starting this week, whether it's Petty or Goff or Kaepernick or
Matt Barkley.
And I'm looking, and he looks at me, he's like, I've said some things before about how I get frustrated about the calls and protecting quarterbacks. And he's like, that's why.
Yeah.
Because if they don't protect them, you've got Matt Barkley playing.
And nobody
and Bryce
wants
Petty.
That. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough situation for the NFL that you have this overcautious protection, but you have to protect the product. You have to protect the game.
Now, Carlos Hyde had a ton of carries last week. The Jets' defense has been good against the run, but obviously there are some, they're kind of done, it seems like. This game's in San Francisco. I don't have any problem starting Carlos Hyde in any way.
Completely agree.
Okay.
And even in tough matchups, Carlos Hyde has been getting the volume, getting enough chunk plays to be fantasy relevant.
Now, Jason's not here to speak about Colin Kaepernick, so what are your sentiments about him this week? I mean, I couldn't do it.
I don't think I can do it either. Look, the matchup is so good. This is a problem. This is a real fantasy problem. The matchup is so good. There are, like you said, there's a lot of bad quarterbacks playing, which lowers the streaming pool. Colin Kaepernick had a long stretch where he was a very solid quarterback one. But can you live with yourself if you make that decision and Colin Kaepernick gets pulled again and destroys your fantasy playoffs?
Nope.
That's what it comes down to for me.
I think Jason made the right point on the show, though, where if you are the massive, massive underdog, playing a guy like Alex Smith last night wasn't going to win you a week against a favored
Looked
opponent.
like it might have. Alex Smith was playing unbelievable.
He had a nice half. He did. He had a great half.
Yes.
But Kaepernick, 2 weeks ago, he had 45 fantasy points in a 6-point league.
Yeah, Alex Smith doesn't have that in him.
So that's all we can say about Kaepernick. I'm not starting any.
That's a choose your own adventure, and you don't get to keep your finger
In
on
the
the
book?
original page and look ahead and say, "Oh, did I die?
No.
Oh, I didn't actually do that." You can't do that
in the playoffs.
Can't do
In the
that.
playoffs, you have to turn the page.
Yep.
And
You
then if you
fully
die at
commit.
the end of that page, you got to
Goodbye.
get a new book. You got to come back to next year.
And that book's not published until 2017.
Exactly. So on the other side, look, the 49ers defense has given up 1.4 rushing touchdowns per game, almost dead last in the league. And then they're like, hey, let's give up 2.5 touchdown passes a game, and let's make that last in the league too. So the 49ers defense can be whooped.
Well,
But will it be whooped by Matt Forte or Brandon Marshall or
love Matt
or
Forte.
Robbie
Anderson? Ugh.
Mr. Anderson?
I love Matt Forte and Brandon Marshall. Look, I've got Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall. He's only catching, Brandon Marshall's only catching 49% of the passes.
Brandon Marshall, now he's not as destructive as Colin Kaepernick, but he's in that mold of, am I going to play him? Like I can't even form the words.
He's in the mold.
Where the matchup is so good. The matchup is great.
I'm coming around on Marshall this week.
That's been me every single week.
Yeah.
It's worked out a few times. Like, this is it. Brandon Marshall.
Are you willing to make him your start of the week
No.
in place of Emmanuel Sanders if Siemian sits?
No.
I just thought I'd try. I am coming around on Marshall. I think if I have to
Okay.
start a pass catcher on that offense, it's going to be Brandon Marshall.
That's why it's a logic says that's the right
I'm
play.
hearing that Petty and Marshall are getting on the same page, and that Marshall actually likes Petty. I'm not joking.
What
I've
pages?
heard that Fitzpatrick has been pretty supportive of Petty, and that they've worked together a little bit to get on the same page.
That's the death page of the Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Yeah, that might be.
We've been over this.
The Saints, the New Orleans Saints, take their talents to Tampa Bay.
Nice recovery.
To take on the Buccaneers in a 51.5 point over/under.
This is why it's so hard for me to make that Kirk Cousins decision.
Here's what someone in our Foot Clan illustrated to me. And he broke down divisional matchup games between the Saints and Bucs and whether they met the over/under. And he was highlighting the fact that sometimes these divisional games where they know each other so well and they've seen each other so much, they can be a bit of a trap.
I mean, pretty much, but and Kirk Cousins is the same. He's in a divisional game.
Right. Not saying it is going to be a trap. Obviously, Vegas thinks it'll be a high-scoring affair, the highest of the week.
The implied team total for the Buccaneers is 28 points.
Yeah. How in the world does Mike Evans not have a great game? How does Cameron Brate not have a great game? How does Jameis Winston not have a great game?
Yeah.
If there's one thing I've seen consistently, it's that the Saints defense will give it up to any and all. They will make Jared Goff look good. They will make anybody look good. So I'm not going to doubt Tampa's offense.
Yeah, I'm not doubting them either.
But do you doubt Doug Martin in any way based on how he's been playing?
Yeah.
You do?
I do.
What does that doubt translate to for fantasy owners? Does that translate to – let me give you some options.
Okay, so it translates to I'm starting him. I'm just downgrading what I thought. You make these moves for the playoffs.
We have Robert Kelley ahead of Doug Martin.
Yep. Oh, man. I think I would.
You have them back-to-back. We have them 2 spots ahead as a consensus.
What's tough, when I would be – if I had that decision,
how would you make it? Yeah.
I probably would still go with Martin because Martin has that big play. He has it in him. We've seen multiple games where Doug Martin just
has the big game in him.
Yeah, he's just goes unbelievable. But we did see that from Robert Kelley a couple weeks ago. He had the 3-touchdown game that included a 60 or 70-yard run. But I would probably lean to Martin. It's the playoffs. I need as many points as I can get.
What about somebody who is worried about stacking $3?
If
Winston,
if it's
Evans.
If it's Winston, Evans, Brate, fine. Perfect,
Winston, Martin,
fine.
Evans.
I'm still okay with it.
Would you try to hedge? If you had to decide, let's say you had Theo Riddick.
No.
You would rather play Martin.
I'd rather play Martin than Theo Riddick.
Okay. Other side, Drew Brees, very disappointing last week. We heard the news about Michael Thomas earlier in the show. We heard the news about Mark Ingram's toe earlier in the show. Does his toe show?
If his shoes are off.
Okay. Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, Willie Snead, Mark Ingram, Tim Hightower, Kobe Fleener. Who has the highest odds of participating in a fantasy bonanza here?
It's still Brandon Cooks. If you're chasing ceiling, which I am in the playoffs, it's Brandon Cooks. But it's the same exact situation as the Bucs. All these guys are decent to good plays, and I'm okay stacking some of these as well.
Here's what I want to know, because if Brees, let's say Thomas is out, Drew Brees on the road, you're starting him over Winston?
Brees over Winston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of fear?
Out of it's Drew Brees.
Even on the road. We've talked about him on the
road. Drew Brees. No.
I mean, the Bucs are 7-5.
I have Drew Brees ranked higher.
Yeah, so do I.
I like the bounce back. Come on, Drew Brees.
You have Winston at 5, though. You have Brees at 3.
Those are
and that's not considering Michael Thomas or
right.
Mark Ingram being out.
Yeah, so Brees would probably get a bump down, but Winston at 5.
Is that called a bump down? Can you bump down?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could bump in either direction.
All right. Seahawks, Packers. This game's going to be very, very interesting. This is the season for Green Bay, in my opinion. Seattle has to travel to Green Bay, 31 degrees outside, snow possibilities. We already know the running game doesn't really exist for the Green Bay Packers offense.
Oh, no.
It's a manufactured consortium of names.
What's funny is, and this is shout out to Jeff Ratcliffe because he breaks these things down, Pro Football Focus. He breaks down yards before contact for running backs. And you always see teams building to fight their opponent. And you see in divisions, eventually teams start to kind of mimic each other.
You're saying they build their offense to defeat their division.
Right. But and it ends up your team kind of starts to look like those other teams. 3 of the worst yards before contact are the Packers, the Lions, and Minnesota.
Wow.
So 3 of 4 in a division make up the bottom of yards before contact.
And if you think just about the running games for those teams, you think about Detroit. Detroit and Green Bay are like the same.
Yes.
I mean, they basically run.
They wish they had Theo Riddick.
They do. But even with Theo Riddick, you're looking at 4 carries, 6 carries. I mean, it's not happening. It's all being manufactured through the short passing game, through running backs out of the backfield.
Just a very interesting.
That was very interesting, Mike.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Look, the Seahawks, we know their defense doesn't give up a lot. They're on the precipice, right on the precipice, of 5 consecutive years as the number 1 scoring defense in the league, which has only been done once in history in the 50s by the Browns. So you're talking about a run of a great defense that we haven't seen in a long time. However, on the road, Aaron Rodgers and no Earl Thomas.
I'm still playing Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's not a question for me. He's the number 1 fantasy quarterback. I don't think you're going to bench your stud in the playoffs. But can he have an explosive game against them?
Probably
and
not.
Can Jordy Nelson do what he's been doing? Because Nelson is something like number 5 right now in the year.
I mean, he could. We saw the Panthers doing nothing. And then Earl Thomas goes down, and you go deep. That's why I think Jordy Nelson can get it done.
The thing about Earl Thomas is he makes up for the risks that are taken on the front end and by Richard Sherman, who makes a lot of risky decisions, but has the luxury of doing that because, I've heard Earl Thomas called the eraser. He erases those mistakes.
Ooh.
But he's not there anymore.
Good movie.
And, the good movie, is that what you said?
Yeah. You remember the Arnold movie?
The Eraser?
You don't
remember
Arnold and Vanessa Williams?
For some reason, I thought it was a Val Kilmer. That was a Val Kilmer movie.
How dare you?
But I think I might be thinking of The Saint.
Yes.
Which is a great Val Kilmer movie. Do you know he has a one-man show?
Val Kilmer?
Yeah.
What's it about?
I think it's about Mark Twain.
Wait.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Val Kilmer? One-man show about Mark Twain?
I think he's Mark Twain.
I got to jump on the SeatGeek.
Citizen Twain, starring Val Kilmer. One-man show.
That sounds both terrible and extremely intriguing at the exact same time.
Yeah. So there you go.
Anyways.
Things you learn.
Back to the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could talk about this game forever. Back to the Seahawks, though. I love Russell Wilson this week. I love the fact that the ball's going to need to be in his hands. I love the fact that he seems to be fully recovered from these lower body injuries. That means he can get out of the pocket with that spin move, make plays on the run. We saw what Lockett can do now that he's healthy. We saw Baldwin have efficiency last week, and Thomas Rawls giving them something on the ground. So how confident are you? As confident as I am with Russell Wilson? Because I'm going out there.
No.
I'm making him my start of the week. I'm starting him over guys like, Matthew Stafford against Chicago at home.
I'm not as confident in you, but I like
in me. You just said I'm not as confident in you.
Well, that's every week.
Just as a person.
I hate
my
to break
confidence
it to you.
in you.
It's shaky. It's shaky. Wilson, I like him. I'm not start of the week confident, but I would play him likely over most options.
Are you more confident in Russell Wilson than you are in Val Kilmer delivering a solid performance as Mark Twain?
I don't know. You put the wig and the mustache on. I think you could smash that.
The Falcons take on the Rams. All right. Well.
All right.
I think the debate in this game, yeah, I think it revolves around Todd Gurley. For me.
Yeah, sure.
The Falcons defense gives up the third most points in the league. So they're not a great defense. But if they are boat racing the Rams, I mean, how much can you lean on the running game? What was the stat you looked up on Todd Gurley yesterday that just blew our minds in the studio?
Oh, that Todd Gurley does not have a single top 12 PPR performance?
That is mind-blowing.
He was very close once, 0.7 points away, but he was still 13.
I mean, doesn't that just mean he has no upside?
Yeah, I think he has.
If he can't finish top 12 at any point in this season, do we need to buy into this Gurley narrative for this week?
I do.
You do.
I do. I don't have a problem with Todd Gurley.
And you do to the tune of. Let me just see.
Yeah,
here.
let me see. He's a running back 2 to me.
Well, I can buy into that.
Okay.
You have him at 19.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have him at 15. So I buy into running back 2. I just was saying, can you?
I see the upside here.
All right.
I see the upside. I think.
But you have Jeremy Hill ahead of him against Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
You have.
There's upside.
Carlos Hyde, Thomas Rawls, Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
R. Kelly.
Yeah, and you're listing these names. I feel very confident about those things.
Is Kenny Britt a startable wide receiver in this game?
Yeah, he's startable. He's been very good actually. It's hard to knock Kenny Britt for what he has achieved in that offense with the quarterback play that he has gotten and being still fantasy relevant.
I want you to take a guess here. The Rams offense has scored blank points per game this year.
Ooh, that's all over the map. They've had a couple very high scores.
What's their average?
And a couple low. I'm going per game?
Yep.
I will say 15.
9.
Ooh.
9.
I overguessed.
All right. We talked about Freeman and Coleman earlier and the fact that if Sanu and Julio, if Julio's limited or out and Sanu's out, we really like Freeman and Coleman to carry the bulk of the offensive work. With Taylor Gabriel, I think, as a spot start there.
Yeah. Taylor Gabriel is much like the Tyreek Hill play, where it worked out. It worked out for Hill because he had the monster play.
Yeah, he had the punt return.
Oh, he also had a he also had a nice
36-yard touchdown.
Yeah, 30-plus yard touchdown. Gabriel can do that. But actually, a question. Can Gabriel Can Gabriel do that if the defense doesn't have to worry about Julio Jones?
Probably not. I mean, you saw this before. Everybody wanted to buy into Harry Douglas is going to be the king of the world, but Harry Douglas is not a 1. And yes, he had some productive games in quantity, but what Gabriel gives you is that monster play. So you're right. If Julio can't take the top off, if Julio can't get it done on one side, I think Gabriel, probably doesn't have the opportunities that you hope for.
Now, as a quick aside, this is especially for the YouTube people. You can't see it from my angle, but the way that you were looking at me, your one eye is peeking through the microphone stand, and the other half of your face is covered by the microphone. You look very much like a cyborg.
I was going for that. I thought that was exactly where you were going when you said it too.
After my confidence shaky remark, you said I'm going full robot.
You're not confident in me. That's what you told me. All right, Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, Giants. This should be a great game.
I am excited for this game.
The Dak attack, Dak Prescott, Zeke, Dez, the newly minted goose, Jason Witten, who put up a 0 last week.
Oh man,
Manning and Jennings and Beckham. What's the narrative in this game for you from a fantasy perspective? Because we got a couple guys in our leagues that they're starting Prescott over Carr. Made a good decision doing that. Games in New York
as of now.
The
narrative really to me is, can the Giants and their money, they paid buco bucks to beef up that defense, and the running defense has been vastly improved over last year.
Number 5 in the league.
Can that run defense shut down Zeke?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it as well. But it was at the Minnesota game where they had Zeke bottled up for much of the game. It wasn't until very late that a couple chunk plays did happen for him. But for most of the game, he was sitting at a very pedestrian fantasy game.
I love Odell Beckham Jr. in this game. I think he'll be fine. I love Des Bryant in this game. But do you buy into what Jason said where he's worried about Rashad Jennings, or do you think Jennings can have a solid running back 2 type of performance?
Well, the Giants, we talked about them being 5th. The Cowboys are 2nd in the league. They have a great running defense. But is this one of those they actually have a legitimately good running defense, or is this the Arizona Cardinals from a couple years ago where all the numbers said, wow, their run defense is tremendous because all you did was pass on them. And the Cowboys are 29th in the league, near dead last as far as passing defense.
Yeah, they have it says they give up a completion percentage of 70.3%.
That's not good.
The league average is 63%. So that's why I'm very confident. So pick another pass catcher for New York. Will Ty, Shepard.
It would be Shepard.
Okay.
It would be and
he's been scoring.
Yeah, I would say look back at what Shepard is done. It's been quiet because he hasn't had any boom games, but he's been basically Moncrief.
Right.
I mean, where he had the 0 game where he didn't get a single target, and Eli Manning profusely apologized to him and gave him many lavish presents after that.
Shepard.
Oh, if Shepard would slap the base, we can do that. But Shepard has had a great stretch of at low yardage getting a touchdown. So if anybody else for the Giants,
So you're looking forward to this game quite a bit.
yeah. If
Do you
anyone,
think that the Cowboys win it?
I do.
Do you think the Cowboys represent the NFC?
If it's ends up being Seattle versus the Cowboys,
It'll be in Dallas, most likely.
I'll take Seattle.
Okay.
I'll take the playoff.
Even with Earl,
Tested
you don't
team.
think the Earl Thomas thing is going to be
It's a factor
okay?
for sure, but
Be interesting. Yeah, I think it'll be those two in the NFC title game. What about the other side?
in the AFC,
Yeah.
who's going to represent? Man, I mean, well, I'll go chalk. I'll take the Patriots as one, and then I'll take whoever survives the West.
Chiefs?
And right now, I think it'll be the Chiefs.
I was going to go Chiefs Patriots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
actually think the Chiefs can beat the Patriots too.
I don't doubt that at all. If you give them Gronk, much different. But without Gronk, I think that the Chiefs could handle the Patriots.
All right.
It was Tom Brady in Kansas City the couple years ago where he was so bad that reporters actually asked, "Are you going to bench Tom Brady?"
Yeah.
Right? That was against the Chiefs.
It was. I also believe
Uh-oh.
the Chiefs were the ones that knocked him out for that year with the ACL.
Uh-oh.
Monday Night Football game, the Ravens and Patriots. Aforementioned Patriots. Light rain in this game. Flacco and Brady.
Patriots favored by 7.
Yeah.
At
At home against Baltimore. A lot of people picking this as an upset.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'll take that spread.
The Ravens' running defense has been great. They have given up the least rushing TDs in the league, only 4. LeGarrette Blount, we've talked about just having a volume play there, but they don't give up a lot of rushing touchdowns. What side do you lean on here? Because Blount's scoring consistently.
Yeah, I keep waiting. I keep waiting for LeGarrette Blount to slow down in one of these matchups. It's a career year for LeGarrette Blount. He has the magic going right now, so I would still play him, and I would still have confidence in him.
Malcolm Mitchell, Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, pass catchers for Tom Brady. I guess you can throw Martellus Bennett in there, who's been talking about the fact he's not healthy, and I've moved way past starting Martellus Bennett at this point.
Yep.
But with Malcolm Mitchell, I found myself retreating from him. Just when push comes to shove in the first round of the playoffs, I am worried about him going up against this Ravens defense. Very good against the pass and the run. He's a rookie. I just find myself when people say, okay, it's Mitchell or it's this player. It's Crowder. It's Mitchell or it's this guy. I'm never taking Mitchell.
Yeah, I side with you that if you're trying to say, oh, I have this steady player, but new hotness, Malcolm Mitchell, it's not time for the new hotness, people. You don't mess around with the fantasy playoffs. I think Mitchell's still an okay play, but he's a 3.
But here's a comparison in this game that I get a lot of. Mitchell or Steve Smith Sr.
Yeah, that one.
And why are people so afraid to play a pass catcher against New England in this game? Is it because of a 7-point line?
Yeah, and it's
But nobody I talk to wants to play Smith or Wallace or Pitta or anybody.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. I have I have.
Would you play Wallace over Smith or Smith over Wallace?
What's my I'll go scoring format here. PPR. I'll take the
Smith.
Actually, no. Wallace has been good.
Yeah.
Or also not great, but he's been good and he's been steady, which is bizarre for Mike Wallace. I'd probably play Wallace.
West or Dixon?
West. I'll take the guy who scores the touchdowns.
All right. All these matchups are going to be on the website as well. And if you go on YouTube to watch the show, you can jump around to each matchup again after you've listened to it here if you want to go listen to one of those or catch up on anything. If you are looking for some DFS information, Chris Meany's not on the show today, but we do have a DFS article on the website, thefantasyfootballers.com by Ben Cummins. And so you can check that out.
And people have asked, hey, my season is toast. If you haven't checked out FanDuel and you want to do it, FanDuel.com/footballers. Oh!
Mailbag.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to jump into the mailbag for a few listener questions on the show today. First one's a voicemail question. Looks like a long one. Let's tune in.
Hey, Ballers. This is Danielle from Omaha. Two things. First, pristine auction is the best, and I have to actively tell my husband to stop looking at it because I'm trying to buy the man some Christmas presents, and he's probably bidding against me. But for now, the actual reason I'm calling, I'm currently defending my Footclan title from last season, and my team is awful, to be honest. I limped into the playoffs after losing A.J. Green, Gronk, C.J. Anderson, and Abdullah this season, and it's a 12-person league. So I know I'm starting Devontae Adams, but I need to know who to pick for my WR2 and my flex spot. I have Kenny Britt, Malcolm Mitchell, Randall Cobb, and Brandon LaFell on my team. So I'm just looking to see who I should pick out of that group, which two I should start. So thank you so much for your help. I listen to you guys every single day, and it's helped me get into the position to defend my title. Have a great day.
All right.
So Britt, Mitchell, Cobb, and LaFell?
Yes.
I'm with you. I think LaFell is just a guaranteed
I was going to say, LaFell is the
I'd probably go LaFell.
LaFell's the one I like the most.
LaFell's in, and I'm having a hard time deciding between Britt and Cobb. I'm not going Mitchell.
Wow.
So
you'll go Jared Goff as your quarterback over Thomas Brady.
No, I would go Thomas Brady if I'm deciding between quarterbacks.
Well, someone's got to throw the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with LaFell and Cobb.
Oof. Yeah, that's really, really tough. LaFell, and because everyone here is just so high risk.
That's the problem. I feel like I'm going to say the wrong names no matter what.
So to me, if everybody's risky, let's take some upside here then, because we know that
Mitchell
the floor for everybody. So LaFell, and Mitchell.
All right.
I mean, Kenny Britt, I like him. Kenny Britt has a fine ceiling against the Falcons, but I mean he's a 3-4 reception guy, while we've seen Malcolm Mitchell just get peppered with targets.
Another wide receiver question from Jeremy in Oklahoma City. Hopkins, Pryor, Watkins, Gabriel, Mitchell.
Whoa.
Hopkins, Pryor, Watkins, Gabriel, Mitchell.
Hopkins.
Give me two.
Pryor's in.
Pryor's in?
Pryor is in.
I'm going Pryor, Watkins. So
yeah.
for you, it's Watkins or Hopkins.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Watkins.
Shopkins.
Oh, don't talk about Shopkins. My daughter will probably come exploding out of the closet here. Who's Shopkins?
Yes. So.
Oh, goodness.
All right, that does it for today's show.
Thanks again to Original Grain. I'm telling you, Footclan, these watches are spectacular. They are.
You just got to check them out. It's great for Christmas.
They're very original. Yes, Christmas is coming. You have someone who's tough to buy for. Trust me, they've never seen a watch like this. So check out originalgrain.com/footballers for 15% off your entire purchase.
Thanks for tuning in this week. Check out Mike on Periscope.
Please do.
On our Twitter account at the FF Ballers, and check out Fantasy Jocks for all your trophy needs. We'll be back next week, and hopefully your team will be too.
Yes.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thank you you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.